Hey, good morning, guys. Me and Q are here, and we are still talking about how to save money, create an emergency fund, and what you should be doing right now, if possible. I said that I felt you should put your expenditures on a credit card so that you could possibly start to at least save some money because you would put all your expenses on there and then at the end of the month pay them all off at one time and also start to establish better credit as well once it's paid off like that.
I don't like that idea. I don't think that putting anything on a credit card is the right way to go because it's just asking for problems. People are going to overextend themselves and go over their budget, and then they're going to be like, oh, I'll just pay minimum payment. And then next thing you know, you're going to owe more money. Credit cards probably have the highest interest rate. If you have another way to do that, it'd be much better. Like, I understand you because I know we don't, we make sure we're paid off at the end of the month, right?
I do. It's very easy for me because I don't like having cash. I literally will give all my cash to a homeless person walking by, drop the money, wash the money, or it will be in a purse somewhere for months that I don't even like look at. And then it's a surprise finding. So,
I like to carry cash.
yeah, so we're totally different. I think cash is like you can lose it too easily. It just doesn't make sense for me. I like to track all my expenditures, and I'm thinking rent, car, big expenses on a credit card is also giving you like a better credit score, isn't it? When you pay it off at the end of the month. It's a great tracking mechanism. It's perfect.
I don't think credit score should be your goal to even think about. I mean, yeah, having a credit card can boost your score, but if you don't pay it, it can hurt your score. Um, like the amount you owe or the amount that's on, like, credit is so weird the way they measure what your score is. And the only thing a good credit score does is will get you better interest rate on a credit card or on loan. So yeah, it matters. Like if you're going to get a house or you're going to get a car, they're going to give you a better interest rate the better your credit is. But they also look at how much your income is and how much your debt is. So the main three big things, um, well, I guess four, because credit history is a big thing to establish your credit. But when you get a loan, they look at your credit history, they look at how much money you have, they look at how much money you owe, and they also look at your income. So those are the big things that matter when you're going to go get a loan. Like if you want to get a home loan, the credit score is going to dictate where the risk it is for them to let you borrow money. And the bigger the risk, the bigger the interest rate. Now, that's still flexible. It could go different ways. But if you don't have income or you don't have money, you're not going to get a loan at all because they're going to be like, yeah, this guy doesn't make enough to borrow this, if that even makes sense.
Okay.
But going back to what you're saying to save money, to start saving money, put all your bills on a credit card. I don't like that idea. I think if anything, just track everything better. Like you want to look at what you spend. You want to look at and I think what you're saying is put it on a credit card so you can see line items how much everything costs. I think that's a great idea, but the only problem is going back to the credit card. If you overspend at the end of the month, then you're like, oh, I spent 10,000, I only have 8,000, or I spent 3,000, I only have 2,500. Um, then what do? You just pay minimum payment or you pay less because credit
No,
card.
because my expense is going to be so precise. I'm not going to give myself a lot of wiggle room. If I'm going to go get groceries, I'm going to say I'm only spending $200 on groceries. There's not going to be a lot of wiggle room. I'm going to have to tighten up with my expenses. It's not going to be like, oh, surprise, I did this.
Right.
No, maybe I won't get like that new pair of shoes this week or, something like that. It's like you have to buckle down if you want to save.
And you know what's really funny is when you start saving, it's like when you start seeing how you save money, like, oh, if I save this money and I pay off my car payment early, you start seeing the money it saves you. It's addictive. You start looking at money a lot different. You're like, oh, no, I'm going to save this dollar. Oh, I'm not paying for that. It makes a difference. Then you start like counting your money and looking at what you spend it on. If you just have like a couple $100 and you go out, you're going to blow it on whatever you want. Oh, I want a coffee. When you start seeing money that you're saving start build up, you're going to be like, nah, I'm going to hold off on Starbucks. I'll get a coffee at home.
Right, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Why I don't have just free cash sitting around, because that free cash sitting around, I'm going to try to buy something, give it to someone, buy them something. Like it becomes like just loose change.
Yeah, but again, I think my point is your credit card isn't the way. Credit card's a good tool. Like if you have to pay something off, use it. But the problem is then you got to pay. It's like getting a loan. Credit card's like a loan. If you pay it off at the end of the month, there's no interest payment. And that's our rule, is we don't pay interest. Like that's our house rule, is don't pay interest on a loan. Now, of course, you have to get a home loan, car loan. I understand people doing that, but you should build that in already. Say, okay, I'm going to get a car loan. It's going to cost me this much a month just to get the money. And then when people start looking at that, it changes the way you think about everything. And people don't look at that.
But what happened to people just saving enough to get a car and then not having the loan? I mean, that's where my mindset is. If I didn't have the income on a monthly basis, then I'd be driving a beater, because I'd save up 2-3 grand and I'd drive a beater until I could save more money.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that people are just so beyond doing that? You're telling me people have no concept of saving, so they're just...
Well, it could be people overspend. I mean, I'm not saying everybody. Some people don't make enough. Like if you're working a minimum wage job, it's tough. But you shouldn't be eating out every night either. And that's the thing, is people don't realize how much eating costs. When you go buy food, when you go to the grocery store and you're buying steak. I mean, I was at Costco's the other day, because I go to Costco's because it'll save you a few dollars. But you got to be careful, because some of the stuff there costs more.
Right.
If you look at the ribs there, they're like more. So then, if it's something you could do without, maybe you should think about that.
Right.
It's definitely a different way. You need to establish a budget and figure out what you can spend on different things. That should be your first step. If you put it on a credit card and pay the credit card off at the end of the month, that's fine. But my only thing on that is, what if you overspend? Your credit card allows you to overspend, and the credit card company wants you to. So then at the end of the month, oh, I spent an extra $200. Then you just roll it over, and then next month
we're definitely on a totally different mindset. I'm a person that really, I can buckle down and not spend over that, because I just like freak out. I'm down to watching my line items. I'm down to I gotta, I guess, make that wig work longer until the next pay. You know, I'm really not a person that like wants to go over. And like he said, it becomes a thing. Your whole mindset becomes a thing to where you don't want to go, and you're very precise. And maybe your savings, you know, you have a minimum in your savings account that if you go under, it's alarming to you.
Yeah.
And that's for both of us, to be honest. So you have a minimum in your savings that if it goes under, an alarm goes off that you need to start restricting yourself.
Well, what I see people do, and I think works good, is like, and I understand what you're saying about using credit cards because you want to track your spending, because that's kind of what you're saying, is I put it all on a credit card so I can see how much it is and then pay it off. But why not use another bank account, or like open like a checking account, or just track everything? Because if you wrote down every penny you spend, every time you go spend a penny, you should write that down and then start adding it up. But see, people are so bad at math now anyway, which baffles me, because I always like math, but people don't want to, it's too hard just to track and then figure out the math at the end of the month, you know. But so many people don't even know what they're spending money on. Like, like how many different streaming services are you paying for right now? I mean, and if you sign up for that thing where they charge you a monthly fee to tell you how much you're paying for stuff, that's even crazier. I don't even understand
Right.
that.
So even right now, I think a lot of people go through this. I keep getting something from the car dealer saying, "Oh, it's time to buy a new car. We'll give you this for your car. It's cheaper to get a newer model than pay for things that might potentially come up on your car." That's what's going on right now with me.
Yeah.
And I prefer just to keep my old car because I don't drive a lot. But I think there's a lot of people that would say, "Oh, I better get this new car and get another bill, and then I just have a new car." But yeah,
Well, how many people have had a bill just show up on their credit card for whatever reason? Like start showing up, and you're like, "What is this?" Remember what I had to cancel my credit card because I couldn't even cancel this thing. It was only like $11 a month, but it was like some music's audio
yeah,
book.
because you need to cancel in your Google store sometimes.
Yeah,
It
well,
takes a while to figure this stuff out.
I
But
tried everything. It took
yeah.
after like 3 months. I'm not paying $11 a month to something I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, sometimes that stuff, it tells you in the fine print that you can only cancel in your Google store. So I understand what that is, but I don't think you would figure that out right away because you don't like
Well, I figure
even
it out when I see a
computer
bill show
stuff.
up. If I see my money coming out, I'm like,
Anyway, guys, so we're talking about savings again, new cars, using credit cards. How detailed are you willing to get into your expenses? Or are you just okay with having that wiggle room and then it ends up being more expenses?
but I think all you're saying in a different way is get a budget. And I think that is the biggest step is to get a budget and figure out how much you're spending on everything. And you're saying put everything on a credit card and then pay it off at the end of the month. I don't like the credit card part, but I love that you're tracking it. So you should look at it and say, okay, this much.
But
this much.
also for me, the credit card bill at the end of the month, during the month before, it's like creating a fire in me. Okay, if I want to work more or sell more of a product, or maybe you start to sell your clothes on eBay or do these different things that people can start making money on for free and stuff like that. So for me, it creates more of a hustle as well in my mind. But you know what? Not everybody thinks like me.
And the more you break down what you buy, what you spend money on, the better it'll help you. Like if you break down, okay, rent is this much, and then you separate it out, and then you start saying, okay, we can spend this much on food, this much on entertainment, this much on this. Then you start looking at it different.
Okay, so anyway,
Like,
not to be
or
long-winded, Q is just saying make a budget and see what you're working with.
And you're saying the same thing, but you just do it different. You're saying put everything on a credit card so you can see what you spend. which
Yeah,
is
and my
exactly
way
the
is
same
right.
thing.
I'm just kidding.
She is
But anyway,
right. But I
make
don't
a
like the
budget,
credit card.
y'all. Make a budget, get your expenses together and see what's outlying from those expenses. Or like he said, maybe stuff you're being charged for that you didn't even know.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. That's a good story. Anyway.
What? Okay, bye.